All right, guys, good morning. Got out here very early on the range before the sun is up, and looking forward to trying out this Zerotech Trace Advanced 4.5-27 scope. This thing has a first focal plane, a 30mm main tube, a zero stop, and locking turrets. So these guys started out as a hunting scope company, and this is their long-range tactical model. So definitely interested to check this out. I've got it in my Archimedes 6mm Creedmoor build, American Rifle Company chassis, American Rifle Company action, and then I've got it in some Iota rings. This is a really solid setup. Today it's not shooting its greatest. It ended up shooting about an MOA on my zero confirmation, so we'll take what we can get. I've got some ammo loaded up, 6mm Creedmoor Barnes 112 grain match burners. What my plan to test this scope is shoot at 100 yards and then shoot out to 475 yards. And I'm going to shoot once close and then move out to far, so I'll have to dial it and change the settings. And then I'm going to go back and forth between a 5-shot group. Maybe I'll do the first 3 with a standard, just regular dial, doing what we're doing. And then on the last couple, we will really start just hammering on these dials and seeing what we can get this thing to do and see if we can trip it up a little bit. Should be a fun test. Let's see how this goes out here at 475 yards. What magnification do we want to shoot on? Let's just bump it to like 14. Okay guys, here we go. Gonna start out at close range. I do not have a camera on, so we'll take a look at that afterward. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and dial up 2.2. Okay. And then I need to change my parallax. And now we're going to take a shot at that steel up there. Now there's something I want to mention here. My floating center dot is smaller than the dot on the target. So this thing is quite precise. Don't see any wind going on down there. We're just going to hold dead center. Okay, that landed a bit high. A half mil above my point of aim. Now we're going back to 100. Just back and forth here. Okay, so at this point we've got 3 round groups down on target for each, and honestly they're looking decent. So let's take this dial and let's count our revs up from 0. 1. And we'll really kind of hammer it into that top part. So we got 1.5 revs up from my 0 here. That would be the only downside to this scope. It's just the 30mm main tube kind of limits what I'm used to at this point with the 34 main tubes elevation wise. But I mean, if you're using this for hunting, you're probably not going to be doing more than like a 14mm dial. So yeah, let's go ahead and change up our windage. We'll just do 1 full rev out. And there we go. Back to where we were. Now we're back to our 0. Let's shoot close again. Change our parallax. This should be a nice little test. I think that one went right through the center of my crosshairs. Okay, dial up 2.2. Hey guys, and I've definitely got to send out a shout out to my buddy Joe at Cyclops Videos. If you want to hear another review on the Zerotech Trace, be sure to check out Joe's video. He does such a good job and explains a ton of the details and also does his own tracking tests on there. Check out Cyclops Videos. He does a phenomenal job. Ready to go long again. Let's try and go down this time. Okay. Went from where I'm at to the bottom. Got our parallax set, got the rifle level. Stacked it on top of my previous shot. And you know what, guys, I think, okay, we got one more. All right. So let's go all the way down, all the way up. One. That was it. Go back to 50, go back to our parallax, windage. One. We'll kind of bump it into the edge there. So then we're 0. Bump it into that edge. Back to 0. And then finally, let's take our last shot at our paper. And we'll go down and take a look at this group, don't worry. All right, guys, playing with the dials, changing things around. Let's go take a look at both of our targets and we'll talk about the results we saw downrange. Okay, let's walk through this target real quick. First shot of the day, landed high. I was zeroing in this rifle. I had never had the scope on the gun before. So I used the first focal plane to measure from my aim point to where my actual impact was, brought it down, brought it left, and this was my first group. So my second shot landed, I think, this top one, and then I just sent 2 more in to validate a group. Before I shot our test, I did bring it up 0.4 of a mil, so I was hoping to get it zeroed out a little bit better. But, I mean, overall, this thing just not shooting its absolute best today. That's right around an inch right there on this group, so nothing super impressive. But the reason I shot a group is I wanted to know how the gun was shooting today so that I could see what to expect for our test. And you can see here these 5 shots. So these 3 really close together, these 2 really close together, and overall it's a very similar size group to what we saw originally before I started messing with the dials. So I would give this a big thumbs up. Basically, whatever we did to the dials really didn't change all that much downrange what we saw in performance. So again, this is my gun not shooting well, not necessarily the scope. So far so good. Let's go take a look at the long range target and then we'll talk more about this. Okay guys, here we are at the target. Please ignore that. That is something I did off camera. Don't worry about it. So this is my aim point. I want to talk to you guys about how small that aim point is. This thing, I guess I have a tape measure in my hand, don't I? About 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And like I was saying, my center dot was smaller than this guy is at 475 yards. When I put the center dot in the middle of it, I could still see the red around it. So very fine aiming point. I really like the floating dot design that the RMG reticle has in this scope. So taking a look, we got 1, 2, maybe 2 in here, and then 1 down here. So if we go center to center off these groups, just outside 5 inches, so just over an MOA, which is what we were seeing at 100 yards. So definitely not too bad. This gun is shooting this at 100. It's shooting this at 475. Can't really complain. The scope did its job and kept bringing it back to where we wanted it. So again, I was going all the way to the bottom, kind of bottoming it out pretty aggressively, bringing it all the way up, slamming it into the edges, windage left and right, and then brought it back, and this thing still fired out an MOA group out at 475. So one of the most important aspects of a long-range precision rifle scope is tracking. Whether you're out hunting, that's extremely important. You need that thing to show up exactly where you intend it to. If you're long-range precision shooting, you don't want to waste ammo. If you're in a competition, you want to make sure you get hits on steel. So now that I know that the Zerotech trace can actually track and hold itself true, that's a big thumbs up in my book. I really like that. The glass is good. The only downside I would say to this scope is just that limited adjustment range. But like I say, I'm used to the 34 millimeters, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm kind of making it out to be. It is a 4.5-27, so that's a ton of magnification down there. Pretty impressive range for a 30 mil if that's what you're looking for. Zerotech Trace Advanced, be sure to check these guys out. But overall, the Zerotech Trace Advanced, not too bad. I think 27's a bit overkill on a scope like this, but I think Magnification sells a lot of scopes. I really do, which I've been trying to preach the opposite way, saying that maybe you don't need as much as you think you want. But that's all right. These guys are offering 4.5 to 27. It's a huge magnification range. I like a 4 to 16, which is already in this scope, and if you really need to crank it up, you can go 11 more magnification than 16, so that's kind of cool. Thumbs up so far. I've been impressed with its performance. This is actually not the first rifle I fired it off of. I put it on top of my 7 SOM for a little bit, but something was going on with that. Slapped it on top of my 6 Creedmoor here, and it seems to be performing today. So really awesome stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit some links down below. I've got a Shoot Steel affiliate link down below, links to my merch. I will drop affiliate links to everything I can, and then just Zerotech themselves. That's not an affiliate link. If you guys go over there, be sure to let them know that I sent you. And don't forget to check out Cyclops Video's review on the Zerotech Trace Advanced 4.5 to 27 with the RMG reticle. My name is Logan with West Desert Shooter. We'll see you guys in the next one.